I knew the moment I opened the front door something was different. The house was too quiet. Not peaceful quiet. Waiting quiet. Madison was standing at the kitchen island, arms crossed tight across her chest. Ryan was pacing near the dining table, staring at his phone like it had personally betrayed him. I hadn't even taken off my coat when he said it. Why was my card declined this morning? Hello. Not, how are you? Just that. I set my purse down slowly. Good evening to you too, Ryan. Madison stepped in quickly. Mom, the transfer didn't go through. The one you send every month. I nodded. I'm aware. Ryan stopped pacing. Aware. We had automatic payments scheduled. Insurance. Software. Subscriptions. Groceries. He didn't say it directly, but we all knew what he meant. Money. My social security. My pension. The retirement savings. I built after working 34 years in hospital administration. I updated my banking information. I sighed calmly. Madison blinked like I'd spoken another language. Without telling us. Yes. Ryan let out a sharp laugh. You can't just pull support like that. We rely on it. I looked around the kitchen, the granite counters I picked out. The cabinets I refinished myself after my husband passed. The house I paid off 12 years ago. You rely on money that was never yours, I said. Madison's face flushed. Mom, it's temporary. Ryan's startup just needs time. It's needed time for 4 years. Ryan's jaw tightened. You live here too. That's when something inside me settled. This is my howdy Vanli. You live here. Madison's tone softened suddenly. Mom, did someone tell you to do this? Are you confused about something? There it was. The concern. The subtle suggestion. I straightened my shoulders. I'm not confused, I said quietly. I'm clear. Ryan folded his arms. You owe us an explanation. For years, I would have rushed to smooth things over. Apologized. Reassured. But something had shifted in me. No, I said. I don't. And that's when Ryan's expression changed. Because for the first time, I wasn't negotiating. Was done. I didn't raise my voice. That's what unsettled them. Ryan thrives on reaction. Madison panics when there's conflict. But I've learned something in my 60s that I wish I knew in my 40s. He's power. Ryan leaned against the counter like he was, arguing a business deal, instead of confronting his mother-in-law. This is irrational, he said. We moved in to help you after Dad passed. I looked at him carefully. You moved in after your apartment lease ended. Madison winced. Mom, that's not fair. No, I replied softly. What's not fair is rewriting history. The truth is, I didn't mind them moving in at first. The house felt empty after my husband died. I thought laughter in the hallway would feel like healing. Instead, it slowly turned into dependence. Ryan handled the technical stuff, online banking, account consolidation, investment dashboards. He made it sound complicated, like I'd fall apart without him. And for a while, I let him. Until last week, I was organizing paperwork when I found an email thread printed, accidentally with my tax documents. Ryan had forwarded a draft to a lawyer. Subject line, guardianship, and durable power of attorney. My name was in the body of the message. He described me as showing early signs of cognitive inconsistency. Cognitive inconsistency after 34 years managing hospital budgets. I looked at Madison now. Did you know he spoke to an attorney about taking control of my finances? Her face drained. Ryan said it was just precautionary. Precautionary. That word again. Ryan stepped forward. You've been forgetful lately. We were protecting you. Protecting me from what? I asked. My own bank account. He exhaled sharply. This is exactly what I mean. You're being defensive. No, I said evenly. I'm being observant. Madison's voice trembled. Mom, we love you. I met her eyes. Then why was I the only one not included in the conversation about my own future? Silence. Heavy. Guilty. Ryan crossed his arms. You're making this into something it's not. No, I said quietly. I'm finally seeing it for what it is. He studied me differently then. Not frustrated. Calculating. And that's when Madison said the sentence that made my stomach drop. Mom, what about the paperwork you signed last year? For the house. I felt the air leave my lungs. What paperwork? When Madison mentioned the house paperwork, something inside me went cold. I remember that day clearly now. Temperatura axilar season. Stacks of documents spread across the dining table. Ryan flipping pages quickly, pointing where I needed to sign. He said it was a refinancing. Update. Something about lowering property taxes and streamlining ownership. I trusted him. That's the part that still stings. What paperwork? I asked, even though I already knew. Ryan answered smoothly. Tosmui. It added survivorship language. Standard estate planning. Explain it to me, I said. If something happens to you, he continued, the house automatically transfers to Madison. No pay. No complications. He said it like he was doing me a favor. I felt my heartbeat in my throat. You told me it was tax paperwork. It was paperwork, he replied, shrugging slightly. Madison stepped closer. Mom, it just made things easier. For who? I asked quietly. No one answered. That silence told me everything. Try my house said slowly, without fully explaining what I was signing. Ryan's jaw tightened. We invested years living here. We've built our lives in this house. You built your lives, I said, on my foundation. Madison's eyes filled with tears. Why are you making this sound malicious? Because intent matters, I replied. And I wasn't informed. Ryan's tone shifted, colder now. You're overreacting. The house stays in the family. It is in the family vanli. It's in my name. That's when I told them. I met with an attorney yesterday. The room froze. Madison whispered, You what? I asked him to review the deed. Ryan's face lost color, just slightly. The modification you attempted. I continued. It wasn't legally valid. That's a technicality, Ryan snapped. It's the law. The document had never been properly notarized. The survivorship clause was incomplete. The house, legally and fully, was still mine. Ryan stared at me like I'd betrayed him. You went behind our backs. I almost laughed at the irony. You went behind mine first. Madison looked between us, panic rising. So what happens now? I held their gaze. Now, I said calmly, we talk about boundaries. Ryan's expression hardened. You really want to escalate this? I didn't raise my voice. It was escalated the moment I was treated like an obstacle instead of a mother. Ryan took one slow step closer. This isn't over, he said quietly. And for the first time, I believed him. I thought discovering the deed issue was the worst of it. I was wrong. At 6:12 the next morning, my phone buzzed on the nightstand. Fraud alert. Attempted transfer of $28,450 from your brokerage account. For a second, I couldn't breathe. I opened the app with shaking fingers. The transfer had been blocked, flagged as suspicious. Large amount. New external account. The destination account name made my stomach drop. Cole Digital Ventures LLC. Ryan's company. I sat there in the quiet of my bedroom, staring at the screen, waiting for my heart to slow down. Almost $30,000. My retirement cushion. The account my late husband and I built dollar by dollar. I went downstairs calmly. That's the part I'm proud of. Ryan was already in the kitchen, coffee mug in hand, scrolling through his phone. Madison was rinsing dishes. I placed my phone on the counter between us. Would you like to tell me? I asked evenly. Why nearly $30,000 tried to leave my investment? Account this morning. Madison turned first. What? Ryan didn't look up right away. I have no idea what you're talking about. I slid the screen toward him. Looked. And in that split second, before his face reset, I saw it. Recognition. It's a glitch, he said quickly. Banks mess up all the time. Glitches don't create new corporate payees, I replied. Madison stepped closer. Ryan. He straightened. Defensive now. She gave me access months ago to help consolidate accounts. Viewing access, I corrected. Not transfer authorization. The credentials were saved on the desktop. So you used them. He exhaled sharply. It was temporary. Abri de long. The company needs liquidity. You tried to move my retirement funds, I said. It's an investment in our future. I repeated. Madison's voice shook. Ryan, tell me you didn't do that without asking her. He didn't answer immediately. That silence was louder than any confession. I spoke to the bank's fraud department. I continued. They're tracing the IP address. Ryan went very still. And they suggested, I added calmly, that I consider filing a financial exploitation report. Madison stepped back from him like they'd just realized. She didn't know the man she married. Ryan's voice dropped low. You're really going to accuse me of stealing? If the word fits, I said. He stared at me differently then. Not like a son-in-law. Like an opponent. You do that, he said quietly, and I won't play nice anymore. And in that moment, I realized something chilling. He'd been playing nice this whole time. When Ryan said he wouldn't play nice anymore, he didn't raise his voice. That's what made it dangerous. Madison looked between us, like she was watching something collapse, in slow motion. Ryan, she whispered, just apologize. He didn't. Instead, he leaned back against the counter, arms folded, posture controlled. "You're blowing this out of proportion," he said to me. "It was a temporary transfer. The deal closes next month. I was going to replace it before you even noticed." "Replace it?" I repeated. "You mean return it?" He exhaled sharply. "You don't understand how startups work." "I understand consent," I replied. Madison's breathing was uneven now. "You told me investors were lined up." "They are," he snapped. "But timing matters." "So does permission," I said. Ryan's composure cracked slightly. "You're acting paranoid." "No," I answered. "I'm acting informed." That's when his tone shifted completely. Cold, strategic. "Fine," he said. "Let's talk about legal realities." Madison stiffened. "Ryan." He ignored her. "If you file a fraud report, there will be an investigation, lawyers, court appearances, questions about why a $70,000 a year retiree suddenly changed financial patterns." I held his gaze. "Are you threatening me?" "I'm explaining consequences." He stepped closer. And judges tend to look closely. Sudden behavioral changes in older adults. Sudden distrust. Impulsive financial decisions. That can raise competency concerns. There it was. The Heo plan. "You'd petition for guardianship," I said quietly. He didn't deny it. Madison stared at him. "You said that was hypothetical." "It is," he replied smoothly. "Unless she forces it." "Forces it?" Like protecting myself was an attack. I walked to the hallway table and opened the drawerware. I'd placed my phone earlier in the week. "Before you decide how far you want to push this," I said calmly, "you should know something." Ryan's eyes narrowed. "I've been recording conversations." Madison gasped. "Mom." I pressed play. Ryan's voice filled the room from 3 nights earlier. "She won't fight it. She depends on us more than she realizes." Madison covered her mouth. Ryan's face hardened. "You took that out of context." "There's more," I said. Another clip. "We just need to move before she starts questioning things." The kitchen went silent. Madison looked at her husband like she didn't recognize him. "Move before she starts questioning things," she whispered. Ryan's jaw tightened. "You're twisting this." "No," I said steadily. "I'm documenting it." Madison stepped back from him slowly. "Ryan, did you ever plan to tell her?" Hesitate. Just for a second. But that second changed everything. I looked at both of them and spoke calmly. "I am filing the report." Ryan's expression darkened. "If you do," he said quietly, "this family won't survive it." I met his stare without blinking. "Then maybe," I said. It already didn't. The house felt divided after that. Not physically. Emotionally. Madison barely spoke to either of us for 2 days. Ryan avoided me completely, which, honestly, felt like a gift. But silence doesn't erase tension. It concentrates it. On the 3rd night, I heard them arguing upstairs. Not loud. Sharp. Controlled. The kind of argument where truth starts slipping through the cracks. "I told you to wait," Madison said. "We didn't have time," Ryan shot back. You said it was safe. It would have been if she hadn't gone digging. If she hadn't gone digging. As if protecting my own finances was snooping through someone else's life. I went back downstairs and sat at the dining table with a folder in front of me. Inside it, the bank's fraud report confirmation, copies of the invalid deed attempt, a printed 30-day notice to vacate. I wasn't reacting anymore. I was preparing. Ryan came down first. He saw the folder. You're really doing this? He asked. Yes. You're going to file a police report against your own son-in-law. I'm filing a report about unauthorized financial activity. Madison came down slowly after him. Her eyes were swollen. Mom, can we just fix this privately? She asked. I offered private boundaries, I said. They weren't respected. Ryan scoffed. You're over-dramatizing. No, I said evenly. I'm clarifying. I slid the envelope across the table. Madison looked down. What is that? Formal notice, I said. 30 days to move out. The words settled heavy in the room. Ryan's chair scraped back sharply. You can't evict us. Can? This is retaliation. This is protection. Madison's voice broke. Where are we supposed to go? Ryan answered before I could. We'll figure it out. But he didn't sound confident. Madison turned to him slowly. Did you ever plan to give it back? She asked. Ryan hesitated. Just long enough. I watched my daughter see something she had been avoiding for months. Maybe years. This was never about helping Mom, was it? She whispered. Ryan didn't respond. And in that silence, their marriage shifted. He looked at me one last time, eyes cold. You think this ends in 30 days? Yes, I said calmly. But the way he stared at me made one thing clear. He wasn't done fighting. He was just done pretending. The moving truck pulled into the driveway exactly 30 days later. I watched from the living room window, coffee mug steady in my hands. No shaking this time. No second-guessing. Just clarity. Ryan carried boxes out first. Fast. Efficient. Like. He was closing a business deal. Instead of leaving the house. He'd planned to inherit. Madison moved slower. She paused in the hallway, at one point, staring at the framed family photos on the wall. The Christmas mornings, the birthdays, the smiles that look different to me now. Memory hits differently when trust is gone. Ryan came back inside for the final box. He stopped in the kitchen and looked around. You didn't have to do this, he said flatly. Yes, I replied. I'd. He stepped closer. Families argue. They don't destroy each other. You tried to take control of my finances and my home, I said calmly. That's not an argument. He exhaled sharply. You'll regret humiliating us. I held his gaze. No, I'll regret ignoring it if I hadn't acted. Madison walked in behind him. She looked exhausted. Older somehow. Mom, she began, then stopped. I never thought it would go this far. It didn't go far overnight, I said gently. It moved inch by inch. I just finally stopped stepping back. Her eyes filled with tears, but this time they weren't defensive. They were honest. I should have asked more questions, she whispered. Yes, I said. T'cruel. Just truthful. Ryan picked up the last box. Comion. Madison hesitated. For a second, I thought she might stay. But she turned and followed him. The truck doors slammed. The engine started. And just like that, 4 years of tension rolled down my driveway and turned the corner. I stood there longer than I expected. Not grieving. Reclaiming. When I walked back inside, I locked the front door. Deadbolt. Chain. For the first time in years, the silence felt peaceful instead of pressured. I opened my laptop at the kitchen table and logged into every account, bank, brokerage, utilities, all under my name. Assured, boundaries aren't cruelty. They're clarity. And sometimes the strongest sentence you'll ever say is one word. If my story made you think about financial boundaries, family loyalty, or the cost of staying silent too long, make sure you like and subscribe. There's more to uncover about the quiet power, struggles that happen inside families, and the strength it takes to walk away from them. Because sometimes the hardest door to lock is the one inside your own home.